You find yourself into a very large and very poorly lit cave. Before you stands Cedric, and on the other side of Cedric, squaring off with Cedric, you see Denon. And the two looks like they have been fighting each other for quite some time. They are at this moment exchanging blows, not quite paying any sort of attention to you. You also see within the room that the doorway out of the den is very close by, and it is still barred shut. The doorway behind you out is once again resealed. And kind of taking in the entirety of the situation, you actually see another bear in the corner, but it's being held down by 4 massive purple tentacles, unlike anything you have ever seen.
I immediately rage, and I'm rushing to destroy the tentacles.
Okay, so you rush towards the tentacles, and Denon now seeing or hearing probably.
I gotta protect the one bear that I can fucking do something for.
The raging Kolgrim, as he runs by, you hear Denon scream, "Boy, be careful! Watch out for the tentacles!" And as you approach the bear, who it is a bear that you have seen before. It is almost white. It's not quite white. It's a very light brown with just the faintest tan sort of woven throughout its perfectly lush skin. You do not get the impression at all that this thing has been molested by. I've really fallen unmolested this.
You love that word
this
right
episode. Has been harmed by the
Anything
purple
yet.
taint, as you have come to know.
Well, I'm
it.
about to taint this purple with my axe, so let's go, sir.
But just before you can reach it, one of these purple tentacles comes flying out from the ground and is going to attempt to grab you by the leg. So it is going to do.
I'm going to attempt to not have it grab me.
So we're gonna do strength versus dex. My strength versus your dex.
Fuck, I hate it.
All right.
Okay, that is a. What is that? That is a 14.
Okay. You very deftly dodge out of the way of this tentacle. At this point, I'm going to need you to roll initiative.
Oh fuck. Okay. My initiative is a 15.
Ooh, 15. All right.
It's mucho
You're gonna
better
have to
than
give me
before.
some time on these boys, because there are a lot of them.
How many are there? You said there's
as far
5
as,
now, right?
As far as you can see, all that's in the room,
5.
there's the 4 tentacles that are on the bear, the 1 tentacle that's on you, and the Cedric and Denon, who are squaring off on their own business. All right. That is that. Okay. It is your turn to act. You have a tentacle immediately in front of you. Probably about 30 feet away is the other bear, and 30 feet in the other direction is Cedric.
All right, I am ignoring the tentacle right in front of me. I'm just going to rush past. I don't care if it's an attack of opportunity or whatever. I'm going to try and get the tentacles off of the other bear that's kind of being held down.
Okay. It is going to invoke an attack of opportunity.
Go for it.
So he is going to...
If it's less than a 17, you don't hit shit.
Wow, 17, really, damn. Okay, so it tries to slap at you with its tentacles, and it misses you because you are bounding away. You find yourself in front of the other bear, 4 tentacles wrapped around each of its paws.
All right, I'm going to slam my axe into the one that is whatever the closest tentacle that's grabbing one of the front paws is to me.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, this is my attack roll, which is what is that? It's an 18.
That'll hit.
20, 21.
That'll hit.
20. Okay, yeah, it's a 24. That's pretty good. It's proficiency and strength bonus, right?
Yep.
Added to the attack roll. Okay. Yeah, it's a 24.
Roll damage.
Okay, this is a 1d12. I do not own one of those, so I'm going to use roll 20. Roll 1d12. That is... Oh, I didn't add a plus to... It's plus strength. So that's 7 damage.
7 damage.
Oh, wait, I'm raging, so that's 9 damage.
9 damage. So you spank this thing with your blade, and you cut most of the way through the tentacle. The experience is not quite what you expected. You expected this tentacle to be of flesh and blood, but this thing is almost like... Well, it's almost like cutting through butter. It's a very...
Well, that's easy.
It's a very stiff butter, however. Butter's probably not the best analogy.
It's like it's like cutting through like sand, like you slam it, goes most of the way
sand
through.
is really good. So you get most of the way through, but you don't quite cut. But you do see that the tentacles sort of release the grip on that bear's claw, the front left claw. And it is actually now that bear's turn. It is not thrilled at the fact that it has all of these stupid things around it.
I wouldn't be either.
It is going to do a couple of things. First thing it is going to do is with its now freed paw, it is going to swat at the other paw that it has.
Okay. It's going for its other front paw, or it's trying to loosen up the back?
It's trying to go through the front paw.
Okay. Yeah, that was my goal, was to try and get its front ones free. So I can like sit back and do a cute bear sit and get everything else going.
Okay. And what's damage here? My favorite part about rolling d6s is that I get to roll the TFORCE dice.
Aw, yeah.
Ooh. Bum bum bum. It manages to sort of snag a little chunk out of the other tentacle, but it is still holding on quite well. So it is now going to actually just go down there, reach down there, and bite it. It's old chompers.
Yeah,
take a bite out of crime.
Can I tell if the bear's a boy or a girl?
It is boy bear.
Okay,
A boy bear. You know bears well enough.
okay.
So that was.
Meanwhile, I take a look at his junk while he's
his hog is out and free. It is unmolested. But you can kind of tell in his eyes that he sort of wishes it would get down there. Like,
gotcha.
Come on, man! You've seen where these movies go. Lots of tentacles. It barely manages to take a little snap out of that. So he manages to take like the top off of this tentacle, and as he sort of bites down and takes a massive chomp out of this thing, the top of it sort of dissolves in his mouth into sort of a puff of a powder.
Does it like dissipate away?
Yeah, it dissipates away, but it's still not enough to free it from its clasp. It's there, it's holding on, but just barely so. It's Cedric and Denon's turn, and the two are squaring off. Cedric is taking swipes with his massive paws. Denon is blocking the blow with his massive maul and taking just pot shots, but because of the proximity, he can't quite get a good bead on it. But he notices that you are already on top of the situation, and you hear shouting from the end of the room, "Free the bear, and we can take this thing down together."
What do you think I'm doing? I'm working on it.
It is now going to be the tentacle's turn, and just as Denon sort of speaks those last words, you see another tentacle rise up from the base of the bear, and it is going to take a slash at you.
Oh, beautiful.
Let's see.
That's what I needed to get tentacled.
Okay.
God.
Another massive tentacle appears in the ground to your left, and behind you, you can feel the approach as the tentacle you left behind sort of digs underground and repositions behind you. So the new tentacle is going to take a chop at you.
Okay.
And it does not hit
me.
Glancing blow against your hardened chest. But the other one who came from behind is going to make an attempt to grab you and hold you down.
Okay.
Let's
see. I need...
you need to roll
Dex?
Dexterity, yeah.
All right, rolling Dex, and that is... What is that? That is a nat 1.
So not only does this thing manage to get a hold of you, it knocks you straight prone.
Fuck.
You are on the ground with a large tentacle wrapped around both of your legs.
Just what I wanted.
The other tentacles that are still on the bear, there are 3. One just hanging on to life, the other 2 hanging on to the rear legs of the bear. Are going to continue to hold down their charge, and we are back to the top of the order, which
so
is
it's back
you.
To me.
Yep.
Okay.
You are on the ground. You are suppressed at your legs.
Okay. If I attack something from prone, is that disadvantage?
I'm going to say it depends what you're going to attack. If you're going to try to attack the one that's at your legs, I'm going to say no. Because it's right at your feet, you're literally just sitting up and then like taking a shot at it. But if you were to try to attack any of the other ones,
then I'm going for the one that's right at my feet.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and if I kill it, I'd like to attempt to stand up as well. I'm just going to use roll 20 for this one, and I rolled an 8.
That does not hit. You are a little woozy from dropping down to the floor so quickly.
I'll never use roll 20 again.
You could not quite get the best grasp onto your weapon, and it managed to dodge your blow. Next is the bear. The bear is going to once again take a bite out of the little bit remaining on his paw. That's a hit. Let's see. Actually, I need different dice for that. Okay. The one that was left onto the paw of the bear completely dissolves away. Both claws are now free, and he is going to take a swipe at the newly placed one, which is nearby you, and looking like he's about to take a chunk out of Kolgrim.
Okay. Not even scared.
Spanked.
Is this the one that's grabbing my legs, or is this the other one?
This is the one that attempted to hit you and missed.
Oh, okay. It's the one that took a swing at me.
Okay, he manages to take a solid blow out of the tentacle, but the tentacle is still remaining. It is now Cedric and Denon's turn. They continue to spar as they do, and you actually see an additional little tentacle come up, but this time it is actually growing out of Cedric, and it is now harassing Denon even more so.
Okay.
But the fight continues.
All right, and is this the top of the order again then?
Nope, we're back to the tentacles turns, actually. So the tentacle that has you at its feet is going to hold strong and keep you suppressed there.
I was waiting for it to pick me up and try and slam me.
While the other one, they're not quite strong enough to do that. Like, you can kind of tell that these things are very, very weak.
Okay, so it's more like like somebody lassoed my legs than it is like a fucking
right. Like they've
kraken grabbing me to fling me around.
Yeah, exactly. You don't think this thing could pick you up on its own? Maybe a few of them, but not on its own. But the other tentacle that tried to take a swing at you before is going to go for round 2.
Okay.
This time with advantage. However, he doesn't quite get the hit, reeling after the big, massive bear paw that spanked it before. And the other ones who are holding on to the bear's legs are going to hold true. All right, so we're back at the top of the order. Right. What do you do?
I am going to again try and free myself.
How are you going to do that?
I am just gonna try and I'm gonna try and attack it again as long as it's not at disadvantage still. If it is a disadvantage, then I'll just try and strength out of it.
The one at your feet, you can still get a good beat on.
Okay, I'm gonna take a swing at it, and I rolled an 11.
Ooh, you just managed to get your axe firmly into it. Roll your damage.
Okay, my damage is... I'm just going to do this to make it quick. It's 15 damage total.
Okay, so you cut this thing at the root, and it, like, you immediately feel your legs have, like, the weight lifted off of them. This thing pops up into the air and just dissolves into, like, a purple flash of dust, which quickly dissipates into thin air.
Okay, and I'd like to use half my movement to stand up.
Okay, so you stand up, and you're at your feet, and you got a bear in front of you. You have an extra tentacle in front of you, and it is that bear's turn. The bear is done with this grappling onto the leg stuff, and he is going to use all of his strength to try to free himself.
Wow.
Yes,
he does.
A non-natural 20. We're going to roll strength v strength against the dark lashes that harass him. That is a crit fail for the dark lashes. So
he tears it right out of the ground.
Yep. So this bear, fed up with these stupid little dark tentacles, kicks both of his legs out with as much force as he can muster, and actually takes chunks of these tentacles with him for the amount of... he cuts them both in half with both of his legs kicked out flat. These things get torn in half.
I don't know why. I imagine him like he gets his arm free. He just fucking like sits back on his fat little bear booty and just kicks out.
Oh yeah, he is furious. He's up and to his feet. You can see that the tentacles there are still kind of like they're still wriggling down there. But he, with a very large and defiant roar, just completely shouts it out.
So there's only one tentacle left.
There is there's 3 tentacles left. There's the 2 that are little stubby tentacles. Okay. And then there's the one that's
right next to me.
That's right next to you.
And the one that's on Cedric.
Yeah, the one that's kind of hanging on Cedric. You see, at the roar of the bear, you hear the commotion between Denon and Cedric kind of subside a little bit as Cedric turns his big, massive body and now faces the bear, almost completely ignoring Denon. And he begins to actually charge the bear, Cedric does. But as he is going, you see him stop dead in his tracks and begin to convulse. You see behind him Denon with palm out front shooting a blue beam straight into the back of Cedric. And you hear Denon shout, "I'll keep him suppressed, but keep the tentacles off me." And just as soon as he says that, you see 3 tentacles spawn throughout the room. One is quite close to Denon. 2 are by you. 1 by the bear, and 1 by you. So we're gonna...
Okay, so one's really close to Denon, one's really close to the bear, one's by me.
So now with all of the new tentacles in place, one attempts to grab onto the leg of the one near Denon, attempts to take hold of his leg.
Okay.
Ooh. Denon kicks as soon as he sees what's happening. He's very focused on what he's doing. He's channeling this blue beam straight into Cedric's core, and you see this tentacle just slyly coil its way up onto Denon's leg, and just almost instinctually, Denon kicks, takes his leg out. You see the purple tentacle completely uproot itself and just burst into nothing. Like,
okay.
Barely even a purple magic spot. It just fucking dissolves. It's gone.
Okay.
You are now going to be attacked by the 2 lashes from you simultaneously. They are going to grab each one of your arms, if they can.
Is this another dex save?
This is going to be dexterity, yeah.
Would you like me to roll twice?
Yes.
Okay. For the first one, I roll an 8. And for the second one, I'm going to use a different dice because fuck that clear one. I rolled a 22.
Okay, so what happens?
21.
21. This is great because I'm going to use your first roll for the first thing that happened, the second roll for the second thing that happens.
Okay.
You feel these tentacles sort of start slithering their way onto you to grab hold. The one on your left arm takes hold first, and you're not really quite sure what was quite happening, and you know that the new one just spawned up to your right, so you take a clear cut left, and you feel this thing hold on to you for a second, then immediately detach and puff into smoke as you have severed it in half with your jerking motion. That was a crit fail on the part of that
on
lash,
its part?
and it has now been cut in half.
Okay.
The other one that you went to go take notice of simply tries to grab on. At this point, you've caught on to their game, and you shake it off quite easily.
Okay.
The other 2 lashes that were behind Cedric, as well as the other bear, rather, as well as the one in front of it, are all going to attempt to attack. All seem to simply be shrugged off by the bear. The 2 ones that were already cut in half were pretty scrimey on their own. They can't really do anything but just sort of rub up against it ineffectively. And the one in front attempts to do so, but just can't find a good purchase in front of like the bear face and the bear paws, and very easily gets batted away harmlessly. Now we are back to the top of the order, and we are to you, sir.
Okay. Let's see what's left. So Denon's clear.
Yes.
One of the one that tried to grab my left arm is dead.
It's in half.
Okay, and what does that entail? So if it's cut in half, it just like loses some of its strength, or
What you can tell is that when it's cut in half, you don't see that it actually has enough girth to grab you, but it certainly has enough to take a swing at you.
Okay. Is there any that are like particularly threatening to the bear right now?
There are two. You have two within your immediate reach.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna swing for. I'm gonna swing for the one of the ones that can grab me. That's in my immediate reach.
Okay. Do you want to attack the full? Or they're both full. There's three in your immediate reach. One is in half.
Yeah, I'll attack the one closest to the bear that's full.
Okay. So you're gonna take a bite out of crime. Go for it.
Yeah, I will take a bite out of. This is a good one. This is a real good one. This is a 21.
21. Roll damage.
Okay. Slash roll 1d12 plus 5, right? Yeah. Yeah, right?
Yep.
Yeah, plus strength plus rage. I don't know how many turns has it been. 4 or 5.
It hasn't been a full minute yet.
Okay, that's 16 damage.
You cut this thing straight out of the ground.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so
What I'd give for another attack.
Yep. He is cut. It is the bear's turn. The bear is very pleased, you can tell, that you have cut a path for him, and he is going to follow suit and finish off the two little guys behind him. So he's going to take his first. He's going to bite one of them. He hits and does max damage, chomping it into bits.
Yeah.
The second he attacks with his claws, he crits. So he goes to slash at this little pathetic half-caught tentacle, and as he's reeling back, the little half tentacle attempts to grab onto the bear's sort of leg, and the bear just sort of, he's reeling up for this, he just steps on it, and that thing is just holding on, but he comes down with a big fat bear palm and absolutely destroys the little guy who is to his back. So now all that remains is a half a tentacle for you behind you that is just barely holding on to life, the full tentacle that was newly spawned to your feet, and Cedric. Until more tentacles come, another near Denon, another near you, and another near the bear. And it is those tentacles' turn. One is going to take a grab hold of Denon's leg again. Actually, this time he's going to go for his arm. He's going to try to interrupt that spell as best he can.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a 14. Whew. Once again, that is 2 crits in a row for Mr. Denon. I'm rolling heavy tonight for the NPCs.
Good.
He rips this out of the ground, but this time, actually, it totally would just completely obliterate into nowhere, completely uprooted from the ground. So that one is quickly dispatched. But the ones that are near you are going to try to hold on once more. You're going to have one go for your leg and one go for your arm. The one that goes for your leg rolls a 18 to your dexterity.
Fuck. All right, my dex is not that. It is a 13.
So it is latched onto your leg. You will find it difficult to move from the place that you are standing without potentially trying to tear this thing out of the ground.
Okay.
The one that goes for your arm attempts 1 and rolls a 13.
To my... What is it? To my 14.
You definitely dodge the attack. It is... So that is... Is that all of them? Yep, that's all of them. Oh, no, the one with the bear. Sorry.
Yep.
The
Bear
one
boy.
who is behind the bear is going to try to grab onto the bear's back paw, onto his leg. The other tentacle grabs onto the bear's leg, and he is now equally as suppressed. It is now your turn. You have one on your leg and the other one to your right.
The bear is suppressed again?
The bear is also suppressed. But you,
Okay.
from where you are, you cannot reach it. You have a bear in between you and that tentacle.
I attack the one that's suppressing me.
Roll it.
That is a 14.
That is a hit. Roll damage.
All right. Damage is... let's see. Slash roll 1. D12 plus a 5. 7 damage.
7 damage. You take a really good chunk out of it, but it is still holding on. That is the end of your turn. And it is on to the bears. The bear doesn't quite mind that its leg is being held on. It's going to take a full swing and a bite out of the tentacle that is nearby you, returning the favor. That is a hit for the bite. I'm rolling off this. I don't have much room to roll. Okay, takes a decent chunk out of him. His slash just hits. Wow. So the bear kind of winds back and takes a solid bite out of the top of this tentacle, but it's still looking strong. It almost looks as if it is about to take another swing at your arm, Kolgrim, when it just gets completely mauled out of the way. The bear's claws cutting deep into the dirt under it as it is flung from existence and puffs into a purple smoke.
Okay.
That brings us to Denon's turn, and he shouts, I can feel his essence. Just one more moment and we should have him. Bursting, however, from the ground once more. This time, all around you are more tentacles. You are now entirely surrounded by the beasts. One is on your leg and barely holding on. He is going to keep his posture.
Okay.
The other one that had been cut in half earlier is going to take a smack at you.
Of course he is.
He is going to do no such thing, as he just kind of knobs against you, kind of feels like you're just being tapped on your leg as this pathetic little tentacle just kind of squirms around you. But that other tentacle, which attempted to grab onto your arm before, is going to do so once more.
Okay.
13 to your dexterity competition.
My dexterity is a 19.
19. You definitely dodge it. A second tentacle is going to make a grab at your arm.
Okay. I will roll again. And that isn't good. That is an 8.
It grabs onto one of your arms, so you have a leg and an arm suppressed.
Beautiful.
Two tentacles are going to make attempts to suppress the bear. One at his paw and one at his back leg. The first fails. The back leg is free. The second also fails, both swinging wide. It is your turn once again. You can only swing your
With one hand.
Yeah, axe one-handed.
All right. I figured as much. I am going to take a one-handed swing at the one that is holding onto my arm.
Go ahead.
All right. My roll is a 21.
That crushes it. What is your damage?
My damage is going to be. Again, we're gonna do this to speed things up a bit.
9.
It's not a 9.
Sorry.
Yeah, it is
13.
13.
You sever it.
Plus, sorry, it's actually a 15 because of rage.
Yeah. You sever it from its mortal coil, and
Yes.
It dissolves. So your arms, both of your arms are free. Your legs are still bound.
Okay. Are both
it is-
legs bound or just one?
It's now the bear's turn. The bear is absolutely fed up with this situation, and he is going to thrash with all of his body's strength and attempt to cleave the two in its immediate front and kick from the back. So he's just going to sort of wind his whole body around and clear the immediate area. So the bear, with all of its might, flings its whole body around, hefting its massive weight. Its legs kick out behind and just absolutely destroy the tentacles, sending them flying across the room into puffs of smoke. Its massive claws spread out front wide, destroying the half tentacle that remained and the 2 that harassed it before. The only ones remaining are the little impotent one that still remains.
They're hanging on.
From attacking your arm, and the larger one still near your front. And as you do that, you hear a shriek, unlike anything you have heard, as Cedric cries out. Spilling from his mouth, purple ooze pours deep into the earth, staining it purple. Cedric falls lifeless into this purple pool. And breathing heavy still, oozes just out of almost every orifice you can imagine. Every pore of his
This
being.
ooze makes me so uncomfortable.
It almost seems as if it is leaving his body. His body is still now that as the purple begins to seep out, you can see that his skin is not cut. It's more like sores, now eking with this purple ichor.
Like pustules?
The tentacles that were harassing you before also quickly rescind into the ground and sort of dissipate. And you are out of initiative order.
Okay.
The scene around you is quite bleak. The bear Cedric lumbers, heavy breathing, on the ground with Denon over him, maul in hand. You approach the bear and the dwarf. Denon looks at you and said, "You fought well.
What
Do you want to finish the job?"
What are you talking about? What are these things?
This is the taint of dark magic. I've been fighting this pestilence all my life, and it has found its way onto this island. It seems that the bear who lay before you was the host of this pestilence, has been tainted by it, and it must be extinguished. You must understand, this poison will infect this whole island if it's allowed to spread. We've caught it here in the den. We must end it now.
What caused this?
We don't know where dark magic came from. It's too much to explain. We can explain on the way home. You must make the decision. Do you tempt fate and leave this bear to live and potentially infect more, or will you crush it and oust any chance of its spread?
All right. Looking at the bear, it's God, this fucking sucks. It's still. Is it still like weeping purple, or is it?
It is. So there are sores all over its body, on its back, on its face. It black.
So it looks real fucked up.
Purple black ooze is just pouring out of this thing. It's pooling up on the ground and just sort of in a sticky mess. The bear does not. Cedric doesn't seem to be responding to your presence at all. Okay. There is a purple haze in his eye, but it is not the bright, fearsome that you saw earlier when you squared off with him. Yeah, it's like just a light haze at this point.
Okay. Oh, fuck. I am going to, this sucks. I'm going to kneel down next to Cedric. I'm going to get close to its head.
As you do that, you can kind of see it's attempting to bite at you. Like it's almost pathetic. It can barely even open up its jaw.
But it's still trying.
Yeah, and its last breaths, it's tempting to make a move on you, but it doesn't do anything. I mean, you could push this thing down with your hand and be fine.
All right. I'm going to give it a hug, and I'm going to whisper into his ear, "I'm sorry, Cedric." And I'm going to stand back up. And I'm going to take my axe and I guess try and cut his head off.
You're going to decapitate the bear.
I'm going to decapitate the bear.
Okay. You do so with no effort whatsoever. Don't even need to roll for it.
Fuck that! God damn it! I was expecting
it's on the ground. It's not moving. I mean, you do the thing.
I don't want to do this. But
actually, roll me a strength check. Really quick.
Fuck. I'm strong. I take it I'm not raging anymore.
No.
That is a 20, not natural.
Okay. Yeah, the bear's head just clean all the way through. You hit ground. As you do that, Denon sort of begins to put away his mace. But then immediately snaps to attention and yells, "Kolgrim!" And as you are tackled by the other bear, roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, shit. That is a 13.
So the other bear sort of charges at you, but with Denon's warning, you're able to maneuver out of the way. The bear stands now in front of you, its eyes glowing blue like you saw in the room before, and it is fixed upon your eyes. The two of you meet and lock into place, and the world all around you goes dark. There's only you and the bear. It slowly begins to approach, seemingly moving into nothing as it steps on blackness towards you. You soon realize that you are laying down flat. The bear above you, rearing on its hind legs. You can't move. You can't feel your arms. You can't feel your feet. You're flat up against the ground as its massive, massive paw, glowing blue, just crushes into your chest, burning with a deep, deep, singeing pain. Just like you felt before in the previous trial. As this agonizing pain sears deeper and deeper, you hear the words spoken, "You're and then it fades. The light returns to the room, and you see Denon, mace kind of down, sort of heavy end towards the ground, him on a knee, holding his mace to his side. And you see in front of you the bear you now know as Yor.
All right, how do you spell that?
Yorr. Yor.
Yor. All right, Yor.
And you notice on your chest the red burned imprint of a bear claw.
Where's that on my chest?
It is on the left side of your chest over your heart.
Okay.
As it said in your suggested history.
All right, I figured it was going to work out that way. That works.
You have created a spiritual link with this bear. You have passed through the 3 trials of strength, wisdom, and the well of destiny.
So, did the bear disappear, or is it still here?
Who? Yor?
Yeah.
Yor is still in the room with you. He is next to
cool.
you.
Okay.
And Denon says, I wasn't expecting that. It seems you've made a new friend.
Yes, it does, and I give Yor a little pat on the head.
He seems well taken to that and sort of nuzzles you right up as well.
Okay.
Denon says, now come, our deed is done, and we must leave this place. He turns and, with his last sort of motion, begins to drag the head and body of Cedric out of the room and takes it outside. Is there anything you want to do in the mountain before you leave?
Do I notice anything in the mountain? Is there anything?
What you do notice, so the room that you're in was a large cave. Otherwise, like, you can kind of tell this is very clearly the bear's den. There aren't any other bears present. There is only really Cedric, Yor, and Denon. Yeah, the corpse of Mal was in the front room, but Denon works through the door and manages to reopen it after crushing the lock to try to save you from having to face Cedric. And he has moved Cedric, the corpse of Cedric, back into that main chamber. And you are still in the room with Yor. So if you choose to follow him, anything else you want to do?
If there's nothing else going on.
Yeah, there really isn't. The door you came in on is gone. It's sealed back into the wall. Okay. The two of you walk out, and you, at this point, the deed is really already done. The bodies are being burnt of both Cedric and Mal. Okay. And Denon says, the only way to truly get rid of the magic once it's infected flesh is through flame. A dark magic takes place, can only be removed by the light. Satisfied with this, he motions for you to come out with him outside and says, I think it's time we return home.
Indeed.
So you and Denon and Yor proceed to leave. Yor sort of, as you leave the mountain and get back towards the path, Yor sort of stops short, and you feel the strong bond between you as him sort of telling you, like, you go, this is like, I'm going to stay here and be a bear on the Bear Island. Of course. Yeah. You're satisfied by that, of course. And you get on the boat, and you are on the boat heading towards Homestead. I should also note that the body of the elf was also burnt. just so we don't
Okay.
have people saying, "Actually, you didn't burn
you
the
didn't burn
body."
everything.
Oh, but let's just say that, like,
actually, before we go, should we check around the area?
You definitely can if you'd like.
Yeah.
What are you specifically? What are you looking for?
I want to see if there's footprints other than just that elf's around the outside. Like I want to make sure that this was the last of whatever the fuck was here.
I could tell you that. So when you went to the camp, there were 3 tents. There were 2 bodies there, and there's 1 body back at the front. In your mind, you were satisfied.
It's safe to assume that all 3 have. Been
all 3 have
killed.
been handled.
Okay, then I guess that's good enough for me.
Okay, so you get back on the boat?
Yeah.
All right, so you are on the ship heading back to Homestead.
With nothing but bad news.
Nothing but bad news. Denon is quite quiet throughout the whole trip.
Well, I'm quiet too because I just killed the fucking elder's bear.
And sort of as you're approaching Homestead, Denon kind of gives you a solid look over and says, "Kolgrim, you performed well today. Not everyone is able to succeed in the face of dark magic, but you seem to thrive in its wake. I want you to know that this isn't the only dark magic that has infected this world. I have been traveling it to hunt it and to find ways to stop it. And I'm always in need of allies." He sort of reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a piece of paper with a seal burned into it that is a M burned deep into the red, crimson red seal, wax seals.
Just an M.
Yep, just an M. It says, "This is a writ of passage. One day a ship will come seeking the holder of this letter. And if that day has happened, I am in need of your aid once more. As soon as we get to Homestead, I'm leaving. I have much to do in the wake of this tragedy. Be with your people and wait for my signal. If you come, I will have you and we'll fight by your sides once more. If you do not, know that the dark magic is still out there in the world, and more will come to harm." And as he sort of says that, that is when you were pulling up to dock. You quite nimbly, you sort of in the midst of all these things, you're still surprised. This ship, for its size, is quite nimble. It's able to pull right up against the side of the dock. And Denon motions for you to get out, and you notice there's quite the large party of your family, of the people of Homestead, all awaiting your return.
I bring ill tidings.
So you get off the boat?
Yeah, I get off the boat.
As soon as you step off the boat begins to pull away. Denon is leaving.
Fuck. God, he knows how to make a goddamn exit.
To your surprise, however, parting the crowd, you see, with a cane, mind you, Elder Grant. And he is on his feet. Not looking great, but looking better than the bedridden one that you saw before. What do you do?
Fuck. Elder Grant, I'm sorry. I failed.
Boy, you are different. And he sort of puts his hand onto your chest.
Am I being molested now?
Here it comes. He puts his hand on your chest, then straight down. No, he puts his hand on your red chest. Your red, the red bear paw on your chest. And he says, I knew he was bound for you. He grabs your hand, lifting it. Not like, I gotta say, normally he would tower over you, but in his sort of hobbled state, he's kind of like at you. So your hand is sort of like, kind of like you do in Scout's Honor. It's like right next to your head, and he goes, "Our youngest has been bonded," and the crowd fucking roars with just applause and joy as you are quickly pulled into the crowd of people and held aloft as a champion. You see, sort of as you are carried appropriately to the tavern, sitting outside on a bench is Fen. He is not looking great, but he has a mug of ale in his hand, and he sort of tips it up at you as you enter into the tavern and proceed to drink the night away.
All right.
And thus ends your adventure.
I've completed the bear story.
You've solved my bear puzzle. So I'll answer the question that I know is burning inside of you.
Yes.
It's fine. Like, the bears had to die.
Okay.
Eldergron understands. He felt the dark taint even through the connection that it was possibly also getting to him. And then as soon as the bear died, it was obviously that feeling of loss, but it was like also the release of that dark magic.
Okay.
So you are a man celebrated by your people, ascended to the rank of a spiritually connected bear man on one step closer to your totem warrior
status
destiny, and you await a messenger looking for your letter.
Asking for a boy with an M.
A boy with an M.
I'm looking for a young boy with an M.
That's it. That's all I had for you.
All right.
How did I do?
You killed it.